Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sarah Peck, and this is the Startup Pregnant Podcast. Hello, everyone. I am getting back online, although slowly. It is early 2019 at the time of this recording, and my little one arrived in October of last year. Many of you know that I've been gone the last few months, even though my podcast has still been rolling, and that I pre-recorded a whole series of episodes to carry me through my maternity leave. As of this recording, my littlest baby Peck is 14 weeks old, although I will be honest, I'm having a hard time keeping track of the weeks with both a toddler and a newborn in the house. I kind of feel like I have so much to tell you about and to update you on and to share with you that I'm having a little bit of trouble getting started with where to go. So I actually have to take my own advice and just jump in and get started and let the words tumble out and know that we will sort it out as we go. Today in this episode, I want to tell you about our upcoming guest interview series. I also want to tell you about a special series that we are doing because I have a couple of special guests coming on as co-hosts, and we are doing a series of interviews that I think will be really fun for Startup Pregnant listeners. I will probably also tell you a little bit about our newest family member because we made this big decision in our family to shift things around that was really surprising to me. I wasn't expecting it. And before I forget, I hope I remember, I have notes in front of me for this episode, which I usually don't have as many notes in front of me, but I have notes from me because I am so sleepy. Before I forget, I want to make sure to also tell you that the Mastermind, our Wise Women's Council, is launching in March. We will actually be starting in March. So if you want to apply and you want to join, go over to startuppregnant.com/mastermind, where I have all the new program details up. Applications will be open all of February. I will go into more detail in an upcoming episode about the mastermind and what it looks like. But if you have been waiting for me to tell you when it's open, it is now open. Please go take a look on the website and feel free to apply, and we will kick things off in March. All right, let's dig into today's episode. Welcome to the Startup Pregnant Podcast, where we talk to creative leaders about what it means to be an entrepreneur and a parent. I'm your host, Sarah K. Peck. Before we begin today's episode, a heads up that the Wise Women's Council is now here. For those of you that have been waiting to hear about the mastermind, it is now open and we are accepting applications. For the entire month of February 2019, applications will be open. The Wise Women's Council is a gathering of a group of women where we come together for 9 months to learn from each other, go deep, and meet regularly for advice, wisdom, and sharing around the journeys of parenthood and entrepreneurship. Applications are open right now, February 2019, and they will close on February 25th, 2019. Get your application in early to be considered on a first-come, first-served basis. Definitely don't wait until the last minute. And also, here's 2 cents for you, my 2 cents. Done is always better than perfect when it comes to applying to something. So if you are wondering whether or not you should apply or worried about your application, go ahead and get it in rather than stressing about it. If you are listening to this and it is the last minute, however, still go apply. You never know what can happen. Go to startuppregnant.com/WWC, that's for Wise Women's Council, or to startuppregnant.com/mastermind. They both link to the same page, so you can either type in startuppregnant.com/mastermind or /WWC, and you will go to the page with all the details, and you can click the button that says apply and fill out your application. Applications probably take about 15 minutes to do because I want to get to know you and really dig in to what you're working on. So don't wait. Definitely don't wait till the last minute. It's not a huge application, but it does take a little bit of thought because I want to get to know you if we are going to be working together for the next year. As many of you know, masterminds have changed my life, and being in community with other women is one of the top reasons I credit with my success. So I encourage you to go and apply. maybe the thing that can really unlock your success this year is being in the community of other women. So go apply. So first things first, there might be a little bit of extra background noise on today's episode because I am recording from my home studio and my toddler and my baby and my partner are all in the house right now as we speak. So I have ducked out to record a couple of episodes, but it is late in the day and we've got lots of children in the house. So if you hear them, that's because they are here. So first of all, I got to have my baby boy, and it was pretty amazing. I'm really grateful that he's here. I am totally more in love with the kiddo the second time around, if that makes any sense, because I think a lot of the anxiety and the nerves and just the logistics of having the first kiddo took away some of my presence and ability to be right there. And now the second kid is here and I'm like, meh, you'll sleep somewhere. Who needs a bath? Like, you can have one of those next week. I have a little bit more time and space to just sit and be with my baby. And I'm really enjoying it. And I'm really grateful that I'm enjoying it because I know that the experiences can vary so wildly. I had a ton of anxiety and insomnia during my third trimester of pregnancy, and I am not experiencing that postpartum. In fact, I find the newborn days easier than the third trimester of pregnancy, which I may be unique in that, but I know that everybody has a very different experience. So I am so grateful to, quote, be getting 4-hour and 5-hour stretches of sleep instead of the 3 or 2 hours I was getting, plus the being awake overnight during pregnancy. So I am really glad to be on the other side. Our baby was born at a very healthy 9 pounds, 11 ounces. He came the day before his due date, and it was a really, really long labor. I was kind of hoping the second baby would be, they always tell you it'll be faster. It's like, oh yeah, they'll come out. They go to the hospital right away and it'll come out. And it took a long time. And the doctor laughed a lot. She caught him and then put him on my chest and she goes, that's a big baby. That's a really big baby. And she couldn't stop saying it. She's like, that is a really big baby. I did not think that big of a baby was inside of you. And I laughed because I didn't know how big he was. But she delivers so many babies that she was just like, well, good golly, this one's a big one. And it turns out he is, and he hasn't stopped growing since. So thanks everybody who has reached out and who has been checking in. And I've been speaking to so many people in our Facebook group as well. It's been really great to stay in touch. I know that a lot of people say, oh, turn off your social media or make sure you cocoon in and have lots of quiet time and space for just you and fam. And while I believe that is essential and important in many ways, there's also the fact that this is one of the ways that we stay connected with each other as friends. And I'm so grateful to be connected to so many people who have been so supportive and warm throughout it all. So today's episode is not a tremendously long one. I wanted to tell you that I am slowly getting back into the studio and recording episodes, and I am figuring out how to get a nanny instead of daycare, which is kind of a switcheroo at the last minute, but it's going well so far. And I wanted to tell you about some of the series that are coming up. In the fall, I recorded a series with my guest co-host, Carrie Fortin, one of my good friends. And she and I went through, it was in November, we did a whole series called the Friendship Series. And I am going to record another series of episodes with several different guest co-hosts. So Ariana Tabuada is going to come on the show. We interviewed her in the past. She's going to come on the show, and she and I are going to dig into what maternity leave was like, what surprised me, what the postpartum period was like as an entrepreneur, because the last time I did it, I was working at a startup, but I wasn't running my own startup. And we're going to talk about the things that broke, because there were some things that did not go very well. And then there were other things that I planned for that did go really well. So I'll dig into all of that so that you can hopefully be the eyes and the ears and learning from this experience, because as women, we don't need to be reinventing the wheel every time. We can take and learn from each other and then just keep making things better. At least that's my hope. And then Angela Greaser and I are going to talk about operations and systems and streamlining your business and how to set it up for really great success when you are leaving. And she was the mastermind behind helping me to offload a lot of my operations and streamline a lot of my systems. And we worked together for a couple of months before I went on maternity leave, and it was excellent. So she's going to come on as a guest co-host, and we're going to unpack that for you. So I'm really excited to bring that your way. On a more personal note, I have known for a little while that this is probably my last baby. We have planned to have 2 children for a long time. And so when our little one was about 8 weeks, 10 weeks old, I made a game day decision about childcare and my workload for the coming year. And I want to spend some time unpacking that with all of you too. It's not easy to do this parenting and business thing, and there's a lot to kind of peel back and figure out the layers of. I had originally planned to take my little boy, Henry is his name, by the way, to daycare. And in December, I realized that I didn't want to do that. I didn't want him to be away from me that much. And I wanted him close by because I really want to enjoy this baby time. And for those of you that know me, you know that I am in love with the work that I do, and I love writing, and I love systems thinking, and I love being an entrepreneur. And I don't think it's either or, and I don't think it's balance. I think it's complicated, and I think it's interesting, and I think it's worth a nuanced discussion because I think it's belittling to females when we say, or to women who are mothers, when we say, oh, they didn't want to work anymore, they just left to be with the baby, of course. It's not about that. There's so much more to unpack here, and it's not necessarily gendered either. I know so many parents who wish that they could spend more time with their kids. So I have been asking myself, I want him close by, I want to enjoy baby time, and I really want to work. How do I do these things? And I am currently in the process of hiring a nanny right now, and she'll be in home with me about 20 hours a week. So I'm going to cut my work hours significantly for the next year. I'll be working part-time-ish because I get up early in the morning to do some writing because that's my best time. And then I spend time with the kids, get them ready for school, take them to school, nurse, feed, make lunches, diaper changes, like all of the chaos in the mornings. And then I'll have about 4 or 5 hours, depending on the day, to do some work. And then I won't be working in the afternoons, at least not in the traditional sense. And I'll be getting the kiddos or managing the household or doing all the other things that require attention. I don't know how well it's going to work. Honestly, I cannot predict the future. And I just knew that I had this feeling when I had my first kid, and now that I have my second kid and I have a chance to do it, it's something I want to do. And I also know they start crawling and walking and talking and being much more demanding really soon. Like by the time they turn 1, they're not little babies anymore. They're actually very intense. And I will probably gladly go to daycare at that point. It's just this early time that is so under-cared for in the United States and so precious that I want to be here for. So I'll have to report back. I'll have to tell you guys in a year how it's working and whether or not it worked out for me. And who knows? It could be in 2 months that I call the daycare in a panic and I say, please, I need your help. I actually need 40 hours a week. I also know that I just really like sharing these stories of what it really looks like with you. I've learned so much from each of you and from all of our guests in asking questions about how you organize your lives and what's working and what's not working. So this Startup Pregnant project continues to be an experiment, and I strive to continue to be an open book and share what's working and what's not working and what I'm learning along the way. So what does this mean for you, and what does this mean for this podcast? Well, it means a couple of things. First, you can definitely help me if you want to. You're my arms and my legs, and my hours are getting shorter. I don't know if that analogy actually works, but you are part of the community of Startup Pregnant. And if you are a longtime listener and you enjoy this podcast, then tell other people about this project and this show. The most important thing is to have this spread by word of mouth. And it really actually helps a lot when you email your friends or other mamas that you know and mention it to them. Marketing is about forming relationships and telling stories that matter to other people and forming connections with people that really want to hear what we have to say. And you can throw a ton of time at your marketing efforts as an entrepreneur, but we're also super busy. And because I'm cutting my hours in half, it would mean a tremendous amount if you shared this podcast with other people, not just random strangers on the street, although you can do that. But if you know of somebody that would enjoy listening to it, tell them about it. And then also, thank you. So many of you sent emails while I was on my maternity leave. And they definitely, many of the emails I got in my inbox really did make me cry. If I have helped you get through your pregnancies or your parenting journeys or your early days in motherhood, I am so grateful, because I said from the beginning that I was creating the podcast that I wanted when I was pregnant and going through all of this. And I'm just trying to stitch together these ideas and these question marks I've had around what we say motherhood should look like and what we say pregnancy should look like, and why it's so challenging to be a working woman and a working mother, and ask you and myself and all of our guests questions about, hey, what would it look like if we worked differently? And what would it look like if we lived differently? And why does parenting have to look like this or be like this? So I'm so grateful to have you alongside me and in this journey. And thank you for everyone who sent notes while I was on maternity leave. I opened up my email inbox over the last few weeks, and I everything makes me tear up right now. Like absolutely everything. Being postpartum is such an emotional time. There's just so much sensitivity and joy, and the littlest things make me cry. So when you send me emails and you tell me what Startup Pregnant means to you, just know that I'm on the other side of this microphone, probably tearing up and being like, I'm so happy. This email is so nice. So thank you. So over the next few weeks, you are going to hear some of the interviews that I did last summer with some pretty amazing guests. We're going to hear from Whitney Johnson, who is one of the top 50 forward thinkers, and she writes for Harvard Business Review. We're going to hear from Christine Koh on minimalist parenting, and many more amazing guests. And then coming up this spring, we are going to do a special series with some guest co-hosts in April and May, and I cannot wait to bring them to you. We have a number of projects coming up on Startup Pregnant. We have the Mastermind, which is also called the Wise Women's Council, which I'll tell you all about in a future episode. And we have a series of mini books that we're publishing on the Startup Pregnant website, all about pregnancy and parenting and positive affirmations and collections of some of these interviews we've done with different Startup Pregnant mamas. So I will be telling you all about all of this in future episodes, but for now, I just wanted to say I'm so grateful to be back on this microphone. My kiddos did not scream too much, which is great. I'm going to go out in the living room after this recording is over and grab dinner with them. And thank you. And what a wild ride this is. I am so glad to be on it with each of you. And I always say this and I mean it. Leave us a review on iTunes if you like our show. It takes a few seconds, and it really does help us a lot. If you want more of what we're talking about, go over to startuppregnant.com and get on our email list. We send out a weekly newsletter with time-saving tips for parents and entrepreneurs. And I always include a weekly gadget or tool or something awesome that we've stumbled upon to help make your life just a little bit easier. And as always, you can reach out to us at hello@startuppregnant.com. We love hearing from you.